Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. I've been talking about what Kabam likes to call quality life improvements for years, and they've made a lot of strides. It's amazing to think about how different this game looked like when I started. If I pulled up the video from 2016, even 2017, it's like a different game. And yes, I know the basic premise is still the same, but the champions have evolved, the animations, the nodes, so much content, right? I remember when variant content was first introduced. I remember when Act 5 was introduced. God, I'm old. But anyhow, there's still some things that we want to see, and Kabam knows it. The help all button is probably the number one most requested thing to talk about that I haven't talked about in years because, it would be overkill at this point. We still have people wanting to have saved mastery setups to where if you need to switch between masteries, instead of doing them all individually and having that be a painstaking process, you just pay whatever amount of units that it's going to cost to switch between masteries, and it's like the click of a button. That would be amazing, and Kabam has talked about how that's their goal at some point, but who knows if we're close to that. And then, of course, something that I only talk about on my channel because it's just specific to me, I often forget to claim my daily crystal until hours after because I'm either busy or sleeping or I'm in the arena. And so I don't understand why Kabam can't give us the daily crystal when we log in for the daily calendar. That guarantees us 365 daily crystals a year instead of what I normally get, which is like 340. I literally miss out on 20 plus daily crystals by the end of the year just because of not being able to claim it. So with that being said, the Dev Diary is introducing something that I haven't even thought they could do or would do, but now that I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, that does really help. Because maybe you're like me. Maybe you haven't memorized every single class of the Cavalier event quest that you need depending on the chapter. I will oftentimes jump in just to click on a defender to see, oh, this is the tech chapter, or this is the mystic, this is the cosmic, mutant, science, etc. Well, this might help me save time in that. And just like the change of life, which really has been a nice change of life, direction to the arena where it'll automatically save what champions you want to bring in. So, if you're wanting to just bring in 5 stars, for example, whenever you complete the round of fights and you go back to putting a new round in, it'll already have the 5 stars filtered out and selected for you instead of having to do that every time or scrolling down with 4 stars, 6 stars, whatever. In this case, we have a new team select and a map preview screen. So, this is from Kabam Zero. I feel like sometimes when I do a really terrible fight, I'm like Prof Zero, so this is kind of ironic. Greetings, Summoners. My name, by the way, Greetings, Summoners sounds like Greetings, YouTube. Are they taking away my catchphrase? I don't know. My name is Kabam Zero, and I'm excited to introduce myself and talk to you about our upcoming changes to the team select flow. Plus, a bit of the current focus of the Genesis team, which I'm guessing is before the Exodus team. My God, I hope somebody got that joke. At Kabam, my title is Front-End Engineer. That sounds like something you need protection for. Meaning that I'm one of the many engineers responsible for creating and updating our many screens and user flows in the contest. Some features I've worked on are Auto Move, great. The Restart Quest button, love it. And catching filters in the arena. Or caching filters. Catching filters, I guess, would be something you'd have to go to the emergency room for. And upgrade ISO 8 stash. I love all those things. Kabam Zero, you are a hero. I also recently updated the Champions Ability page UI, allowing you to view signature abilities that have yet to be unlocked. Besides that, I'm also an avid Marvel Contest of Champions player, currently sitting at Cavalier on the road to Thronebreaker. Well, good luck, buddy. If you need advice, let me know. If you remember our roadmap update earlier this year, we mentioned something called Project Genesis. Project Genesis is a game-wide modernization initiative to update, refresh, and rework huge parts of the contest, bringing it up to the standard we all expect in 2021 and beyond. Love that. To that end, we've done a lot of user testing and have found that new summoners especially struggle with what we call the core fight spine. Now that is a weird phrase. This includes everything from when the player selects their team to the point before entering into a fight. MCOC has a growing number of deep and engaging RPG mechanics, which can be punishing for players without prior knowledge of champions nodes or proper planning through quest maps. I say this all the time because I was intimidated when I started playing this game and there was like very little content. If I started now, I wouldn't continue because I'd be so overwhelmed. It'd be like never seeing a math book and then being handed a calculus textbook. I'd just run out of the school. So it's smart for them to make this as user-friendly as possible, particularly for newer players. As beginners, I'm sure many of us have shared the same experience fighting a champion like Iceman. Oh, again, when I was a beginner, Iceman wasn't in the game, so that terrifies me. And being totally unprepared for it. as MCOC evolves, our team is focusing a great deal of energy to make it easier for players to pick up the RPG strategy aspect of the game. We've got a bunch of changes we're currently working on to make this better, but something we found that we could get working out the door to you quickly was what we call Team Select Preview. One pinpoint we've noticed is that currently, when planning your team for a particular path or quest, the best way to do that is to start the quest, take a look around to figure out who you need, and then quit out. Go back to the Team Select and finally pick your team. That's a lot of steps, so starting in 32.2, launching August 30th, we'll be enabling a preview button for our event quest that you can find in the Team Select screen. So you can see the normal Team Select screen, but then in the right, check this out, begin quest or preview. So clicking on the preview button will load up the quest while still having the Team Select screen up, like so. That is awesome. I feel like that's like screenception. And so here you can see, in this case, Falcon and VTD are the first two fighters of these paths. From here, you are able to pan around the map and tap on boss portraits to see buff node information. Or, to me, again, with Cavalier, it's just useful to tap any enemy to remember what path it is so I can adjust the champion's class accordingly. Just as if you're on the map normally. On the right side, there are menu buttons that will help you navigate the map. Look, I know some people might think, Prof, you're overhyping this. I think this is really cool. I know cool is a word that can be overly used, but this is really a big help. It's a small change that will make a big change difference. And I hate, regardless of how many views videos get, I hate when people only want to click on videos that they think are critical to Kabam. I always say this. This would be the most abusive, unhealthy relationship ever if my channel just existed to bash the game or to Kabam. Because I play this game. I've been committed to this game longer than any romantic relationship I've ever been in, any college degree I've ever pursued. I mean, this is my life when I'm not teaching. And so I want the game to improve. I want to be able to share the highs and lows of the game with new players. And I want to be able to put out videos like this that praise Kabam for positive changes. And so if you care about the game, that's what you should want to as well. Just because your brain gets a high from the dopamine of being outraged doesn't mean, one, it's healthy at all to do that daily, and two, that that's going to be a good long-term plan for your own mental health. All right, so on the right side, there are menu buttons that will help you navigate the map. All these buttons, except the last one, existed previously in the quest map, but for thoroughness sake, we've got the boost button, the portals button, the link node, the center on player, and the center on boss. Besides the side buttons, the map now being here, you can still do the things you could typically do on the Team Select screen. While this may not solve every concern or difficulty our players may experience in the core fight spine, which CFS is still such a weird phrase, we believe it's a nice start. It is a nice start, man. And one we were able to get to you relatively quickly. We've got a couple more exciting things coming, but I think this will be far more impactful. We need a little bit more time in our metaphorical development oven. While we are only releasing this initially in our event quest, we want to expand further, taking it a bit slow to properly handle all the many different types of quests. I mean, that's smart, because anytime the Kabam makes any small changes, we know the server gets even more bogged down, and that can lead to more issues with bugs and lag and game crashes, etc. All right, Kabam 0, again, from zero to hero, literally. This is awesome. I also talked really fast in this, so you might have to slow down the speed, but I wanted this video to be under 10 minutes, and there was a lot to read, so we're going to end it here. Are you excited for this change? I certainly am. It is a huge quality of life update, and personally, I think we should be celebrating this as a community, and I love getting excited about positive changes. So, thank you, Kabam 0, for the information, and thank you, Brian Shadowstrike, as always, for keeping me updated with the forums.